For the second section, we're going to look at simultaneous equations where we don't start with an equal amount of either letter. So let's jump straight in with an example. So let's say we've got 4x plus 2y equals 18 and 3x plus y equals 12. First step, like always, is to number our two equations. So number 1 and number 2. Now, if we look at these as compared to the last set of questions we've done, the x's are different and the y's are different. So we can't just add or subtract one of the equations to cancel that out. Now, by looking at it here, I can see that it's easy to make the y's the same. If I doubled this, I'd end up with the same amount of y's. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do equation 2 times by 2. Again, using the notation, a number in a circle tells us which equation we're looking at and then what we're doing. So equation 2 multiplied by 2. And just multiply each individual bit by 2. So we get 6x plus 2y equals 24. So just multiplying each section by 2. Okay? Now, as we have got a new equation, we give it a new number, so we call this one 3. Now, it's often good to make a note of the fact that we've used this equation. So I'm going to put a little cross next to this one to say, I've used that one already, don't use it again. We can use it towards the end, but at the moment it's best not to. So now we have to look at 1 and 3, because we have 2y and 2y, so we know they can cancel out. They both add, so we're going to be subtracting the one equation from the other. So if I look, 6x is bigger than 4x, so that means I'm going to do 3 take away 1. So equation 3 take away equation 1, work along. 6x take away 4x gives me 2x. 2y take away 2y gives me 0, which is what we're trying to achieve. 24 take away 18 gives me 6. There we go. Now we're back to those simple solving steps where we need to get rid of the 2, so we divide by 2. I'm not going to write it this time because I think we've had enough practice, but if you need to write down divide by 2, you still can. That gives me x divided by 2 on this side, 3. So I've got x equals 3. I've found my first letter. Just like before, the next step, sub x equals 3 into, and then we pick an equation. Now here we can pick any of the 3, 1, 2 or 3. I'm going to pick 2 because it's only got one y, so that's going to be the least amount of work in my eyes. So we put that in, we get 3 times by 3 plus y equals 12, which gives me 9 plus y equals 12. Just sorting that out. And then we need to cancel out this 9, so we subtract 9 from each side, and that gives me y equals 3. As we said at the end, to round it all off, it's good to write out our answer as x equals 3, y equals 3. So there you go, the full example. Now, again, what we were dealing with there, our y's were both positive, so they had the same sign, so we were able to just add them. So let's do another example. And this time we're going to look at the equations 3x plus 5y equals 23 and 6x minus 4y equals 32. Start by numbering them. That never changes. 1 and 2. Then looking at this, we've got a different number of y's, different numbers of x's. Now if I look at my y's, I can't easily change the 4 to make it into a 5 or vice versa. So what the sensible thing to do here is look at the x's instead. Now with my x's, I've got 3x and 6x. So if I double the first one, I'll also have 6x. So that's what I'm going to do. Equation 1 here, I'm going to times by 2. That will give me 6x plus 10y equals 46. Now label that number 3 and put a little mark next to number 1 to say that we've used it, so we don't get confused as to what to do next. Now this is a situation that a lot of people find confusing. We've got 6x and 6x, so we've got the same amount of x's now. People get confused by these signs. These signs have got nothing to do with the x's. Both of our x's are positive, which means we are going to have to do a subtract here. Because we've got 10y and minus 4y, I'm going to subtract 1 from 3, so I'm going to do equation 3, take away equation 1. Again, always noting down what I'm doing. So 3 take away, I've made a mistake there, because it's not equation 1. It's equation 3, take away equation 2. Sorry about that. So 6x take away 6x is nothing. That's what we wanted to achieve. 10y take away minus 4y, that becomes plus 4y, so we end up with 14y equals 46 take away 32 gives us 14. Nice and easy to see from there that y equals 1. So we've got our first value. This time we found y first, but it makes no difference. Same as always, we need to sub back in. So sub y equals 1 into, and pick any equation. I'm going to go with 1 this time. That gives me 3x plus 5 times 1 equals 23. So 3x plus 5 equals 23. My bit of solving from here, remove my 5 from each side, I cancel out my 5 by taking it away. That's 3x equals 18. Divide by my 3 gives me x equals 6. Again, to round everything off, like always, we write out our answer. X equals 6, y equals 1. And there we go. The same rules apply as for the last set of questions. You always have to consider the signs of your two terms. Are they to work out whether we have to add or subtract? And then solve and then substitute.